Hello, wonderful humans, and welcome to Board Game Dads. My name is Anthony,
And my name is Eric.
and we are the Board Game Dads. Today, presenting to you a top 10 list, specifically top 10 toddler games. How are we defining toddler, Eric? What age range?
Toddler is pretty much, I would say, universally defined as 2 and 3.
Yeah, I agree with
Once you
that.
hit 4, I think there's a whole wider range of games that you can sort of purchase for your kids
Sure, sure.
or
So,
just try.
well, yes. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of wiggle room up and down. It's not an exact science, that's for sure. But what qualifies us to make such a list today? Well, Eric and I both have said toddler in that age range, with a younger one that'll be a toddler at some point in the not so distant future. So there's that. But we want to clear up exactly how it is that we are presenting this list. So, Eric, what are we basing this top 10 list on?
So these are pretty much the top 10 games for 2 and 3 year olds that you and I, are familiar with.
Yes.
There's a lot of games out there. There might be games that are better, for this age range. But here's our list.
Yeah.
These are the games. If you're a new parent and you're a gamer and you're like, oh, I wonder what are the earliest games that I can start to play with my kids. First off, you're looking at least like a year and a half to 2 years before you can start anything. And then these are what we found to be the 10 best ones for those first couple years of toddlerism.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And not only that, not only if you are a parent, but even if you are just in your life, you have someone who is that age and you want to gift them something, this is a pretty good list to start at. And as far as we both know, these games are all pretty widely available at this current recording, anyway, of this in 2022. So if you're watching this 10 years later, well, staying power for these guys right there. But enough about that. Before we get to any actual picks, though, we do want to do a quick flashback. So, on the same topic of toddler games, Eric and I did a review video for the game First Orchard from HABA USA, which may or may not appear on today's list. And we got a couple of comments to feature and flashback to from folks that checked out that video. So check that out if you haven't. And let's get started with a little bit of a flashback here. Anyway, Evan says obviously my kids are way past this at this point. They are indeed, but I sure played a lot of Little Orchard when the kids were little. We mentioned that was an earlier version of this game. And he said it's funny because that one actually says ages 3 and up on it. It's a bit of a step up from First Orchard for sure, because it has a tile flipping memory aspect to it, which was good for my kids because they were super good at remembering where the tiles were and Advance the Crow tiles were. And also, you were harvesting just cherries, whereas this one you have 4 different or 3 different fruits, I should say. Really cool pieces, but we outgrew it a long time ago. That'll happen. Um, I think we already mentioned that we have second children that are younger than the toddler age that we'll obviously probably keep these games around for. But at some point, I guess there'll be some parting of the ways with some of those games. And I should mention Evan, by the way. Check out his channel. Subscribe to him if you're not. He does a video series specifically with his family about should it stay or should it go, where they kind of decide as a family, is this game staying in the collection or getting the boot. So it's pretty interesting to check that out. A little plug for Evan there. We've also got a comment from the lovely Ambi, who is a board game mom herself. She has twins. And she said, I didn't know that the Raven's name was Theo. Is that the rule book? It is not in the rule book. It is named in other Hobbit toys, as Ambi mentions here. So there's that. For some reason, my toddlers don't play this one as much as their other hobby games. I still haven't gotten them to play a full game of it by the rules, and they don't really choose it that often. Their current favorites are Hungry as a Bear, which I think both of these are Haba. Hungry as a Bear and Tidy Up. You don't have either one of those, do you, Eric?
I do not.
No, okay. I think they are. One of them is a little more like activity based than the other. But I jokingly asked Ambi afterwards if the tidy up game helped with her children actually tidying up, and she said, surprisingly, no, it does
That's
not.
not surprising.
But great to hear from Ambi as well. I'm going to plug Ambi as well here, as we did with Evan. Ambi has a Kickstarter coming this summer for a children's board book about playing board games called Board Game Day. So be sure to be on the radar for that. Go follow Ambi as well if you don't already. All right. I think it's time for a little, as they say, honorable mention.
A little honorable mention
All
for the
right,
kids.
we got two. This one's for the kids. All right, first one up is a fellow HABA game, and no surprise, there's going to be a lot of HABA games on this list. That's
There
kind of their
will
deal.
be a lot of hobby games on
Yeah.
this list.
But we tried to specifically make this not a top 10 HABA games list. We probably could have, but you know, why not spread the wealth a little bit? There's a lot of other good options out there. But
Indeed.
anyway, we've got here Building Site, which is a game that has more of an activity to it. You don't really like win or lose, kind of just like finish at some point, but there is like a memory aspect to it. You flip over some tiles. But basically, you're building a house with these different wooden pieces. And the coolest thing about this game is that it comes with a toy dump truck, which is good quality, fun. My son AJ loves construction vehicles, so we got this for him. I'll say it's an honorable mention for me specifically because despite that fact, he doesn't really choose to play it as often as most of his other games, which is interesting. Like I said, because he likes the car so much. But it is a lot of fun and a lot of cool components, as with most hobby games. And what about you over there in the daily household? What's your HM?
So over here we can see the other game is Hoppy Floppy's Monarchian Jogger Chassal Carrots. It's Hoppy Floppy's Bunny Hunt.
uh,
So I think we talked about this game a little bit in one of the previous videos for the month of April for Easter.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
basically one of these games. You spin the spinner, and then whatever color it tells you to do, or whatever action it tells you to do, like steal a carrot from somebody else, dump all your carrots back in the thing, and then you take these tongs, take a carrot out of the box, you put it in your basket. First one with one of each color wins the game, and it's cute, and Zoe loves it. So it has been mentioned honorably.
There you go. Does she do you play like a regular game with her at this point, like by the rules, or does
At
she
this
just
point,
like playing with the stuff?
so the tongs that come with it are a little tough for her to squeeze, so
Okay.
she has to bring her tongs from her kitchen. But otherwise,
Innovative.
she plays the game. She doesn't. I don't know that she's had to dump all her carrots back into the box yet, and I don't expect her to enjoy that when she rolls that. So that's going to be a weird one when that one rolls out, and we'll see how that plays.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, so that's a couple HMs. We're gonna get right into the number 10 game here, which also has been mentioned by us before, but it's on the list, so it's a keeper. What do we got up here first? Number 10.
Acorn soup.
Delicious.
So this now similar to Hoppy Floppy's Bunny Hunt has a very annoyingly shaped game box. This one in particular, it's supposed to be a pot to make soup. So I get it and I give it a pass. But otherwise, you get these recipe cards and you get a bunch of these thick wooden chunky pieces, and they got to take the ingredient, however many of them that the recipe calls for, put it on the spoon, drop it in the pot, and that's pretty much it. It's kind of just an activity, but it's a fun one, and she seems to like it. We also have that play kitchen, so she'll take the pot over and she'll put it on it, and then she'll stir it up and bring it back, and it's a fun one when it comes out for her.
Yeah, that's a fun implementation. That's awesome that she does that. That's a great way to incorporate other play into a game like this. This is you just pick it up though, right, and put it on the thing, or are you supposed to pick this up with tongs also?
No, this game does not come with tongs.
Okay.
Nor does it come with that little mini easel that we have the recipe cards on.
Oh,
We
that's a
just
nice. That's a nice touch.
it is right. We got a package of those for the game Canvas,
Right.
and so we had a few extras. We just throw one in there. Yeah, that's acorn
Cool.
soup.
Awesome. All right. Heading up to number 9, another game about food ish, specifically feeding someone. Who's this guy we're feeding? It's the
Oh,
Woozle.
Woozle.
Feed that Woozle. So it is similar to Acorn Soup in that you are putting pretend items onto a spoon, right? But basically, this one has you, and I guess you set up as kind of far away as you want the children to travel with with said item on the thing. But you can basically play a couple different ways. The hardest way, and I'm doing air quotes with that, is to use the spinner because that's going to tell you kind of how to travel with your spoon ingredient over to the woozle. So it might say something like skip or spin around or walk backwards or something like that. Um, we should say that a lot of these games, and this is, I think, a common theme with toddler stuff in general, not just board games, but really all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of things that come in stages, right? Where
Right.
you can do it this way, and then when it's a little more advanced, do it this way, and then there's this other way that's like the hardest, so to speak.
Like
Um,
difficulty levels, but for
yeah,
different kind of ages. Right.
exactly, exactly. So this one we should mention is from Peaceable Kingdom. So another, not HABA company that also makes some very cool games for these little folks. I think 99% of them are cooperative games. So you're just trying to accomplish feeding the woozle X amount of things to gather the right cards. I think to finish the game. That's the woozle. That's what he wants to eat.
I can see that one turning into feed the woozle, no spoon, just kind of like tossing the food into his mouth to see if
That's
if we hit
true.
it, great. That's now then it's a dexterity game on a different level, right? That's like stage 4.
Yeah, yeah. That could be part of like the board game toddler Olympics.
Could be hashtag.
Mhm.
All right,
All
what
right.
is our next game?
Moving on.
Number 8,
Number 8.
off to bed.
Hmm.
This game is as simple as you have a bunch of square tiles and you have to flip them over. If you flip over all the beds, like there's a yellow, pink, and blue animal that need to go into bed. They need their bed, they need their pillow, they need their stuffed animal, they need their blanket. And if you flip all these tiles over before you flip over these other 8 tiles, there's like 2 potties, 2 toothbrushes, 2 sippy cups, and 2 stories, then you win. There's not much game there,
Hmm.
but it helps make that routine, right? You go to the potty, brush your teeth, you get a sippy cup, you have something to drink, you get your story, and you go to bed. You need your stuffed animal, you need your pillow, you need your bed, you need your blanket. And Zoe really loves this one. And she just, we don't win. I would say we win maybe half the time, but it doesn't matter. We're putting them together. She's picking up tiles with daddy and mommy.
Right, right.
Yeah. But it's, it's a fun one. And like I said, it's not really a lot of game there. It's just cute.
Yeah, it is, and it's another, opportunity to tie in, like we've talked about using this as a resource for, teaching bedtime
Right.
routine and any type of routine, really.
Like how Tidy Up, the game that Ambi was talking about, is sort of a routine for cleaning everything up. This is
Right.
a routine for, getting ready and going to bed. And it just helps hammer that in.
It does, and I mean, that's just a testament to the products that Hava designs and puts out there, and
Yeah.
they have kids in mind, families in mind. I think for sure.
Another
All right,
Hobby game.
another Hava game. So we should keep track. How many is that so far?
That would be our first. So
Okay,
another
so we had
hobby game.
one honorable
We did
mention
have the
and then
honorable
one.
mention. We had
Okay,
the building site construction thing, whatever that's called. I always get it
gotcha.
wrong, and I own
It's
it.
yeah, it's building site.
Okay.
My first union job. All right, on number 7, back over to Peaceable Kingdom here for Snug as a Bug in a Rug. Another cooperative effort here where you are trying to put these little cute bugs underneath the rug. So the game board there, designed to look like a rug, actually has a little some little plastic feet underneath, so it's raised a little bit above the table because you're going to put the bugs underneath. Basically, you're going to either roll a die or spin a spinner, depending on which level of gameplay you're going for. But either way, you're going to get a certain attribute that you're looking for on these bugs, be it their color, eye size, or geometric shapes that are on their backs. So you find that one, put it under the rug, next person goes. If, however, you can't find the matching bug, then you place a stink bug on the rug. You get 3 stink bugs, you lose the game.
Hmm.
Get all the other bugs underneath before that, you win the game. I like this one because of the way it does the attribute thing. That's a skill that is valuable, I think, for young folks to have. As a former elementary teacher, we did spend some time on attributes and categorizing things, and it extends a lot into even the upper grades. You talk about animal kingdom, how to classify insects, and things like that. It's a good skill set to have. So I like that this has this in a friendly, toddler friendly format.
Right, and this one levels up as well, right? There's like different
Yeah.
different difficulty levels or
Hmm.
age ranges that you can play this one.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
I do have one problem with this game.
Yeah.
So the concept of the game is to find these bugs and put them under the rug. I don't want bugs under the rug. I don't want them on top of the rug. Why can't we just take them off the rug?
Then
I
the
don't want to
title
be
doesn't really work.
I don't want to be teaching my children that it's okay for the bugs to go under the rug because those sneaky little devils are gonna pop up somewhere else, try to come over and steal some of my candy. No, this game's cool. I don't have any problems with it. Clearly, I'm grasping at straws trying to.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so that's on number 7. Snug as a bug in a rug. Nice little cooperative effort. We're moving from bugs to another type of animal here. It's about time to count your
Count
chickens.
your chickens. Another Peaceable Kingdom game.
There you go. That's
So what
3.
is that? Was that two, three?
That's 3 now. Yeah.
That's three. Okay. So this is a cooperative game where you spin the spinner and then you move that many spaces and you get to the end and that's it. So every time you move a space, you take one of these there's a bunch of little chick tokens. Every time you move one space, you take one chick token and you put it up in the chicken coop, and that's where you're trying to get. And
Hmm.
you just have to roll the spinner, and it'll have a picture of an animal on it, and then you go to the closest picture of that animal somewhere, and you pick up chickens or chicks for all these spaces, and it's a lot of repetitive counting. It's really not much of a game, but it really does help because every time you move, you're counting the spaces, and then you move 6 spaces. Now you got to get 6 chicks, and then you're counting the chicks, and so it's fun to play with her because I don't know,
Well,
she
because
needs
she
help
likes it.
counting,
Well,
right?
yeah. Yeah. No,
But
another good teaching tool for sure.
yeah, this is way more educational than it is fun.
That's fair.
Yeah, but it's like I said, very educational because it's just repeating that process. Count this, count this, count this, and and she's having a blast doing it. And I'm sitting there like, okay, like and we're counting to 5 again. Like, do it, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, and I gotta say, a lot of these games, even again if they're past their prime in terms of the child's age, the components are usually pretty good. And I'm looking at that board and that spinner, and I'm thinking that at some point in life, an older kid, even if 5 or 6 or whatever, might want to go ahead and take that board and just make up their own game about farm animals, right? And here's a board that's already set out with little counters on it. That kind of stuff is really valuable for creative play. And so I think a lot of these, especially the HABA stuff, because it has that nice wooden chunky things.
So you're saying that this game is scrap?
No.
It's just this is a great game to dismantle and use as some other game.
No dismantle, no dismantle. I'm just saying it encourages creative play.
Well, good because it's our number 6.
Yeah.
All right, now it's not time for number 5. What is
On
number
to number
5 here?
5.
All right, number 5.
More
Oh,
animals.
this is a favorite of mine. This is Hedgehog Haberdash, and it comes with these cute little porcupines that you have to put leaves in that are matching your color. And the porcupines really need to be glued, so you got to get that done. But otherwise, you roll this die, and it has either one leaf or two leaves or wind. And if you roll wind, you're going to steal somebody's leaf. And basically, you reach into this bag when you get the one or two leaves, and you pick out one or two leaves. Each leaf has two different colors on either end of the leaf, and you have to choose. If
Hmm.
you're the blue color and you pick one that's got orange and yellow, you didn't get one that you're gonna, that's gonna help you win. But now you have to choose. You're gonna give it to the orange player. You're gonna give it to the yellow player.
Right.
We play this 3 players because Logan's too young to play, but we still have to play with that fourth hedgehog. And I I really love this game because I didn't know that Zoe was really going to understand. You have to have the right color, and when you take it out, you have to flip it over and put it in one or the other, and you have to have it with the right color facing up. And she really figured it out pretty quickly. And she's getting that memory part, like when Melissa will take one out that's orange and pink, and she'll use it in the pink, her pink hedgehog. So he will remember that one was orange, and then when she rolls that steal, she's gonna go and she's gonna steal that one and put it in hers for the orange.
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah, this one is the current favorite right now. She's gonna be 3 in another month and a half. This is number one, my number one for that.
Oh, then it shouldn't be number 5. It should be like number 2.
Well, no. This is like I said. This is my current number one. This isn't the
Mm,
number one game for 2 to 3 year olds, but just where she's at right now. This is our favorite.
gotcha. Hey, the hedgehogs are adorable.
Yeah.
when you so you when you did glue yours together, or are you just
Not yet.
suggesting?
Not
Okay,
yet.
but they would still fit in the box assembled.
Yeah, we keep them in the box assembled.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it all fits in there just fine. It's just the sunglasses keep falling off. They're really useless. It's just so everybody can clearly see which color porcupine you have. Even though, like, the orange one will have some orange leaves on the print of his quills or her quills.
Mm. Well, similar to real sunglasses on a real toddler, pretty useless and going to fall off their face.
I don't know. So he loves her sunglasses. She looks pretty cool wearing them. And by
Yeah,
cool,
no.
I mean silly.
Well, yeah. Does she have her own, or she wears like your
She's
like
got
grown up
like three
ones?
pairs.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, folks. We are at our number 4 game here. Number 4 game for toddlers, and we're going back to more animals and back to Haba, Animal Upon Animal, the Junior Edition, which we deduced is different by I think the width of the animal tokens, the meeples that you get here. Little,
It's
little.
different from the original, my very first games, Animal Upon Animal. I don't know that that one's called Junior,
I don't think
but
so
that one's got
either.
like farm animals and like a dog and a cat and
Yeah,
pigs and stuff. This one's got snakes and alligators and gorillas and tigers and it's fresher.
yeah, yeah. I'll give you that. So it's got 2 different, like, sort of places to play the animals. There's like the meadow and then a pool, of watering hole of sorts. Another one, again, that has different levels to play at. But essentially, you can see the crab there on the left. That becomes the basically enemy player in the most advanced version of this game, where he's going to advance around the track of these sun tokens, You got to get your stack of animals up before he gets to the end. So he becomes less of a stacker, more of a marker to race against. But look, again, you talk about toy factor here. What kid doesn't like to play with animals? And these are nice little wooden chunky folks.
I think these are awesome. I think the crab is the coolest looking one out there. It's a little disappointing to know that you can't actually stack him on top of the monkey.
Oh well, you can. I mean, that's you can do whatever you want, but
I'm sorry,
it,
the gorilla, not the monkey.
yeah, gorilla. And then we got
Yeah.
a fox and I think a dog,
Little tiger back there. Oh yeah,
tiger.
they gotta have a dog. Now we have the regular animal upon animal, which is I think ages 5 and up,
Okay,
maybe 4. I don't remember, but the pieces are more like a little bit smaller, more regular meeple sized. I guess slightly larger,
right.
but like we have the unicorn one, so it's kind of what you would expect from a unicorn meeple, that basic size. So we can't play that yet, but this one, yeah, this one's great. And also, we have the HABA Advent calendar that came out. I don't know what year, but it's got a bunch of very similarly sized animals, and there's
Hmm.
you know 25 of them, because it's an Advent calendar, and you can use those to stack them up too.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just a fun activity in general to
Right.
stack things. I mean, there's so many kids' toys and games that revolve around that.
But
And
these HABA ones from the Advent calendar are pretty thick. That it's a good fill in for this kind of game in that
sure,
2 to 3 age range. Because the other ones, like I said, the other ones are a little. We'll talk about them in a couple years.
yeah. Stay tuned. All right, we're at top three, climbing up. Speaking of climbing, our number three has a familiar hero to a lot of board gamers, although it is the junior version. So we're on the Hobbit train here still with Rhino Hero Jr., a stacking game. We're going to be building the building with these interlocking wooden kind of pieces here, cardboard similar to the regular game.
They're like walls.
Yeah, yeah,
You can
the
make a little
walls.
plus sign wall
Exactly,
and then
exactly with the
put a
roof on
roof on
top.
top of it.
Hmm. This has the Rhino Hero Junior Meeple, and then there's a baby spider monkey as well, which I think tries to thwart your efforts in the advanced version of the game. But again, talking about stacking stuff, there are many toys out there that are, numbers to stack in different sizes, and they get smaller, or they go into each other like, nesting dolls or things like that. You can play this game any way you want. There's three different versions that they recommend in the rule book. But basically, you're going to lay out these numbers, match them up, build your thing. And I should note in addition to the numbers, there's that number of birds on each side of the wall as well.
Hmm.
So there's a little reinforcement with the counting there. Good free play. A lot of free play here. Make a tower, knock it down, put Rhino up if you want. If not, let him fall. And then eventually you break out the regular version of this game or the super battle version where your kid gets a little bit older
Yep.
and you get some nice mega structures going on. Ah, this game is awesome.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I have not actually played this kid one, but we have Rhino Hero Super Battle, and
Yeah,
it's always a fun time.
it's very tense. And again, kids like to stack stuff and knock them down. This is a no brainer.
And laugh at you when you knock them down.
For sure. That's Rhino Hero Jr. Check it out. If you never played Rhino Hero, get that too. Get Super
Oh yeah,
Battle. It's better.
absolutely.
Number two.
Number two, big old number two.
Back on Haba.
No, I don't believe so. I think this is. I don't know. I don't remember, but if I had to guess, I'd say Peaceable Kingdom.
It is, in fact, Game Right.
Oh, game
Game
right.
Right.
Okay.
First appearance on the list with Go Away Monster. Game Right does have a lot of great kids games and adult games, I should say, for sure. But Go Away Monster is one that snuck on this list kind of last minute. Overall, back when we first started writing these down, anyway. But my son specifically really got a kick out of this game. because you get to yell, "Go away, monster," and throw the monster tiles back into the box. This is a pull stuff out of a bag game where you're trying to fill up the empty silhouettes there in your bedroom. So you have four different player boards there, and you can mix and match which items go where. But you pull one out, and if it matches one of these spots that you need, you put it on your board. If you already have that piece, you give it to someone else who's playing because this is a co op type of game. However, if you pull out a monster, that's when the fun begins. You yell, "Go away, monster," and throw him back in the box. AJ got such a kick out of this concept that it instantly shot up to number two because of that. To be honest, I mean he was having a blast. He couldn't wait to show other people that he now had this game where you were allowed to throw stuff. It was fantastic.
Yeah, this one's been on our Amazon cart for a while, and
Mm,
it's gonna make the collection eventually.
nice, yeah. I think it's kind of older game. I want to say it's from like the '90s or yeah, maybe. Um, but yeah, I was impressed. Love the artwork too. It's
Oh
fun.
yeah,
Everyone's got a different style of, painting and bed and things like that. And I should have mentioned the whole point of the game, the educational part of it, anyway, is that you're trying to discern and recognize these shapes blindly by not looking, by just putting your hand in the bag, right? So that's why the monster tokens you can see here are all different shapes, but they're similar to some of the shapes of the stuff that you're actually looking for,
right.
which is good. So, the bed is obviously a very unique shape. Ideally, that's one that, a kid starts to kind of realize that they're grabbing in the bag first, and then maybe they'll try to get that out.
A few of these other ones are similar to the lamp and the picture on the wall of that teddy bear. They're
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. So, yeah, good concept. Like this one, Go Away Monster, our number two, which means only one thing.
Our number one game, the game that you already knew because we did a video about it, is First Orchard.
Yeah, yeah,
This is the first game that I was able to play with my daughter where she could start to understand this concept of how to play the game. So for anybody out there that was watching this list and they just wanted to know, well, what's really the first game that I can play? This is one of the first games you can play with your kids. It's got nice big chunky pieces. It's got green apples, red apples, yellow pears, and blue
loves.
plums, even though plums are supposed to be purple. And we've been calling these blueberries for a year and a half. We're not going to change it now. But it's just, it's fun. It's very simple, but it helps your kid, kind of realize the purpose of a die. You roll a color and you look at
Yeah,
whatever's on the top, and oh, you go and get that color fruit and you put it in a basket. It's that simple, but it's a great game. It's a great gateway game for humans, right? Like the
yeah,
tiny little humans that are just starting to take this journey into the wonderful world of board gaming. This is it. This is how you get them in there and let them play with these pieces and start to figure out colors. And
yeah, yeah. And
I
and
could keep going on and on,
specifically,
but
yeah,
you just watch a video.
and specifically for the introduction to what a co-op is like, right? Because it's so unlike some of the other games on this list, you can lose this game, and that's a good thing.
Right.
That's a great skill set or skill or emotional, thing to start to teach as young as you can, because there's going to be a lot of times in life that you don't win at whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yep, and and you got to wait when it's somebody else's turn. You got to take turns. This
Yep,
is a good way to learn to do that too. And
for
like
sure.
like we said, I got plenty of good things to say about this game for a 2 year old.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's our number one. Not much of a shocker there if you pay any attention to us at all, but with good reason. All right, folks, we're coming to the close here. As always, we would love to hear from you. Specifically, if you have played any of the games that we mentioned on this list. But even more than that, we'd like to hear what games that you've had success with,
Yeah.
whether it's your own children or things that you've seen, been around other young kids that have played any of these games or whatnot. Eric, anything else you want to add before we are? off to bed after we tidy up?
No, I don't believe so.
All right.
If you got a kid, play one of these games with him if he's 2 or 3 years old. If he's two, or she, if you're two and you haven't played games yet, First Orchard. That's it.
Book
That's
it.
my sign out.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. Bye.